Hold on to your seats because Group C at WAFCON 2026 is officially on fire. If you thought the 10-time champion Super Falcons were going down without a fight after that opening day shocker against Malawi, well, think again. Last night in Rabat, 10-woman Nigeria pulled off an absolute masterclass in resilience, defeating Zambia by 1-0. Now that's the response of champions. One game ago, the Super Falcons were on the ropes, beaten by Malawi. Questions everywhere. Was this the end of Nigeria's dominance in Africa? Had the rest of the continent finally caught up? Fast forward 90 minutes and we are having a completely different conversation. Nigeria won, Malawi 0. Talk about a high-stakes response. But trust me, that scoreline doesn't even begin to tell the story because this wasn't a pretty performance. It wasn't a dominant performance. It was something else. It was a performance built on grit, on sacrifice, on resilience. And maybe that's exactly what this team needed. The perfect start came inside 8 minutes. Who else but Asisat Oshoala, the 6-time African Women's Footballer of the Year, reminded everyone why she's still one of the biggest names on the continent. Nigeria needed someone to calm the nerves after that defeat to Malawi, and Oshoala delivered at exactly the right moment. But then, the game changed. Oluwatosin Demi's red card just before halftime completely flipped the script. From that moment, this stopped being a football match about attacking. It became a survival mission. Playing more than half a game with 10 players against the Zambian side, boasting Barbara Banda and Richard Kumjanandi, that's a nightmare for any defense. Yet, Nigeria never panicked. They became compact. They protected the middle of the pitch. They stayed disciplined. Every player understood the assignment. The backline refused to be stretched. The midfield worked overtime, and every clearance felt like a small victory. Now, let's also give Zambia some credit. Coming into this game, they looked like the most dangerous attacking team in the tournament. That's after putting 6 goals past Egypt. Barbara had scored 4 also in that game. Confidence was sky high. But football has a funny way of reminding you that every game writes its own story. For all their attacking quality, Zambia couldn't find the breakthrough. They dominated possession after the red card. They made attacking substitutions. They pushed bodies forward. But when it really mattered, they lacked that cutting edge. They had the numerical advantage for more than half the game, but they couldn't break down Nigeria's low block. And maybe that's the biggest compliment you can pay Nigeria. The Super Falcons didn't simply defend. They defended with purpose. Now, does this performance erase the concerns from the Malawi defeat? Absolutely no. There are still questions. There are still areas Justin Madugu needs to address, especially defensively. And in terms of discipline, playing with 10 players isn't a strategy you want to repeat. But what this victory does is restore belief, because tournaments aren't always won by teams that play the best football. Sometimes they are won by the team that survives difficult moments, and Nigeria survived. Now, let's talk about what this means for Group C. Malawi have a perfect 6 points after beating Egypt 3-1 earlier in the day and are top of Group C. Nigeria and Zambia are both on 3 points. Egypt are still searching for their first point, which means Wednesday's final group games are literally do or die, with 0 margins for error and maximum chaos. Nigeria face Egypt and must put goals past Egypt to boost their goal difference and, of course, guarantee a spot in the quarterfinals. On paper, that's a game that Super Falcons should win. But after what we've seen in this tournament, nobody is taking anything for granted anymore. Malawi will take on Zambia, a massive Southern African derby. Zambia needs a win against a flawless Malawi to lock up automatic qualification, as there's no best third place scenario this time. If Zambia beat Malawi, the group opens up completely. If Malawi avoid defeat, they finish top of the group. So every goal, every point, every decision from here carries enormous weight. For Nigeria, the equation is simple. Beat Egypt, score 4 or more goals, take care of your own business, then let the rest sort out itself. One thing is certain though, the Super Falcons are alive. Their title defense is alive. And after watching them dig deep with 10 players, one thing has become clear. Write this team off at your own risk. Now I want to hear from you. Can the Super Falcons complete the ultimate comeback story? Or will Zambia and Malawi take over Group C? Drop your thoughts in the comments.